Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I've got something super special. I have been into long range rifle shooting for a while. Um, like most people, I started with hunting rifles and pretty quickly discovered the limitations of hunting rifles. Nothing against hunting rifles, there's a bunch of great hunting rifles out there, but they are a compromise between accuracy, power, and precision. No one wants to carry a 20-pound rifle around all day, particularly if you're on any kind of mountain pass or rough terrain. And that's great for light rifles, are great for hunting. They're not great for bench rest or long range precision shooting. I went from hunting rifles, good hunting rifles, um, to Ruger Precision. And Ruger Precision deserves a lot of credit. They saw the market before almost anyone and started making the Ruger Precision Rifle at the very beginning of the current push or the current interest, expansion and interest for long range rifle shooting. And they are largely responsible for the rapid growth in the industry and the sport. And so props to Ruger. They make an excellent product. I personally believe the first generation of the precision rifles were the better. I like the key mod stocks myself more than M-LOK, but to each his own. I had a couple of Ruger Precisions. I still do. I have that UMC Red 6.5 Creedmoor with a 24-inch barrel, and I have the standard black 20-inch 308. Again, great rifles and accurate, super accurate rifles. For me, and I don't know if this was the limitations of the particular rifle I had, because I've seen on the internet people who are getting spectacular groupings with their RPRs, just stock, just nothing extra done to them. I couldn't seem to get. I think the best groups I could get at 1,000 yards in my 6.5 Creedmoor Ruger Precision was somewhere in the area of 0.85 or 0.89. Just under one MOA, but certainly not half MOA or better than that. And can't be me. It's not me. It's not my load. It's not my shooting. It must be the rifle. Um, Y'all see emphasize that fish I caught last week. Anyway, it's certainly in your best interest to eliminate the other variables if you can. And I felt like I wanted or needed or more wanted a better rifle. I started to go the Remington 700 route. There's a lot of Remington 700s that won a lot of matches. The problem is the Remington 700 factory isn't particularly accurate. It's a good solid platform with a lot of accessories and aftermarket support, but it doesn't get real accurate till you have a competent gunsmith, true the action to the barrel, blueprinted as it's called, um, and then get a chassis and all the other things you do. And so, by the time it's all said and done, you spend a lot of money and time getting a rifle that, fortunately, Savage has just manufactured for me. This is the Savage 110 Elite Precision. They also make the 110 Precision, which also is an MDT chassis, although it's not the ACC. This is the MDT, which is Modular Driven Technologies, ACC chassis. I forget what ACC stands for, but it's something about accessory, customized, compatible, something to that effect. Anyway, if you look up the MDT ACC chassis online, just the chassis, doesn't even come with a pistol grip. Just the buttstock and this portion here. The short actions are $1,100. The long actions are $1,200. So it is not cheap. But that said, it has fantastic features. Probably the most substantial of which are the adjustments to be made back here. The comb height is adjusted. There's set screws there. There's a wheel, threaded wheel that raises and lowers it. Then you can lock it down with the set screws. Same with the length of pull. And it's a pretty substantial adjustment. I mean, it's like almost 2 inches back with both of them, really. And get it where you want it, lock it down. And another really cool feature that I like is the butt plate itself. Butt pad plate can be adjusted. You know what? 2.25 inches there, up or down. For the down part, no, yeah, it goes down as far. I think it goes down right off the bottom. um, but so you can really customize this to your particular body type or your style of shooting. The cone goes left and right as well. I'm right-handed, much as you can see there. That one's adjusted to the left for a right-handed shooter. The pistol grip is also adjustable. You can adjust it forward or back for your length of pull from your back of the grip to the trigger itself. I'd say it's maybe a half an inch or a little bit more. Plus, you can adjust the angle, and so that's really a cool feature there. In addition to that, they have I think it's ARCA rail system. This is a Swiss camera company, actually. That came up with this, but it has 2 dovetail cuts that run the length of the spore stock there, and they make bipods that they clamp in those dovetail cuts, and you just simply flip a lever, slide it where you want, lock that lever back down, and bam, there it is. It's very convenient. You don't have to take it off the rifle. You just have to flip the lever up, and it just slides and doesn't come off, and lock it down. There it is. The downside of that is those bipods are like start at $389 or something like that and go up to around $600, maybe more. They do make an adapter that you can get that's around $100 that you can attach the sling swivel type bipod that you may already have, or a Picatinny rail type bipod that you may already have onto that adapter. And so for $80, $90, $100, you get a bipod that way. If you're in the F class, you know that's a sort of mandatory thing. The barrel, this is the heaviest barrel that the Savage produces, a factory barrel. They call it the modified Palma profile. It is, of course, it's a 5R rifle and barrel. It's 26 inches long. I think it's 1.25 inch diameter at the breech and .925 at the muzzle. It's threaded 5/8 by 24. It comes with Savage's self-timing muzzle brake, and all this is it's a great idea. Is the muzzle brake and the nut are actually 2 pieces, and it's sort of a compression fitting type deal. And so you position the muzzle brake in the correct orientation and tighten the nut down. Bam! It's locked in position. No spacers or washers to make it align correctly. They have says it's an MDT magazine here. Some people say it's AICS. I don't know if it is, or if it's licensed by them, or if it's strictly an MDT design. But this magazine has got some. It's a single stacked feed, and in that when it gets up here, the follower has the round right in the dead center. It's not offset with a follower like typical double stack, but it does have a bit of a double stack cant as it goes down there. So this is a 10-round magazine. The great thing about this magazine is you can get a COAL, an overall cartridge length in this particular magazine is 2.907. If you've ever had to load rounds for a precision rifle and had a PMAG, you know that 2.82 or 4 is about all you get. And every one I've ever had, the length of your COAL length is, at least, and especially with heavier bullets, has always been longer than what the magazine would hold. And so with both my Ruger Precisions, I've got a single feed sled that I've put in there, and I can't magazine feed and load my rounds out to the lands, which is really frustrating. have a magazine-fed rifle that you can't use the magazine for. I typically shoot the 147 grain ELD match Hornady bullets, and I also shoot some Nosler and some Berger bullets in that weight range too, and all of them loaded right to the lands or just off fit in this magazine. So I guess the throat is a little shorter than a lot of commercial chambers are cut, and that helps too. But the magazine's longer length, and that's for me. It's just huge. It's a thing that just irritates the hell out of me. If it's PMags, and I can't get the rounds in there that they're loaded to the lands. It comes with 20 mm A rail. It's a stainless steel target action, stainless steel barrel, stainless steel bolt. They use Savage calls it their titanium nitride finish. It's harder than the metal, so the finish, as long as you keep it properly lubed, should last as long as the rest of the rifle does without ever scratching off or chipping or anything. So I mean, that's a really nice thing. The trigger, it's Savage's AccuTrigger. This is the good AccuTrigger. Um, Everyone has their version of the adjustable pull weight trigger now, and I think the Ruger's is the Marksman. Um, I don't know, maybe not, I can't remember. I was looking at Bergara and Howa rifles in addition, and Browning X bolts and such, and everybody has their own adjustable pull target or match type trigger. This one, I have a Savage A22 rimfire, and I think I have an Axis 223 hunting rifle that has the AccuTrigger, but it's not like this AccuTrigger. I mean, they're good triggers, but they're considerably heavier and they're nowhere near smooth. The pull weight on this one, I believe, is 2.5 pounds at the heaviest. It goes down to like 6 ounces. I've got mine set at something close to 6 ounces. Chambers clear, magazines out. That break is just almost nothing. It takes some getting used to. I promise you, if you dial one of these things down, go to the range, make sure you practice good gun handling safety, because you're going to inadvertently shoot the thing before you mean to. That trigger is set at around 10 to 12 ounces, and I always make sure that there's no rounds in the chamber or in the magazine, and the bolt is open until this gun is pointed at its target and I'm behind it ready to take my shot before I even close the bolt. And then when I put my finger on the trigger, I'm focusing on my sight picture, because it takes so little to shoot that. In fact, sometimes I think I might raise that pull weight up just a little bit. But it's super nice, super crisp, no travel. I mean, it's just fantastic. 20 mm rail, if I didn't say that already. My optic is the Athlon Argos BTR 1040-56 with a 30 mm tube. This is entry level scope, and a lot of people say it's an entry level rifle, although for me it's pretty damn nice. It's certainly not entry level. There's a lot of rifle snobs, no scope snobs out there, and certainly the higher end stuff is nice and it's great. But a lot of people don't have $2,000 for a scope. I mean, I don't, single parent, so I don't. And finding a scope that does the job and that is not going to break the bank is a cool trick. This particular Argos, Athlon Argos, most of them are first focal plane. This one, just this one, is different. It is a second focal plane, because when you're shooting bench rest, you know your distances. There's no need for a first focal plane. The turrets are 1/8 MOA instead of 1/4 MOA, so you have much finer adjustment with each click, which is really nice. One downside of this particular scope is that length right there. I mean, it's like 1.5 inches. So you have very little adjustment once your rings are in place. As you can see, I got the rings all the way back, and I still had to use cantilever rings because this length right here is pretty long. I mean, I'm 5'10", I'm not the biggest guy. So you 6 foot tall dudes probably will have more trouble with it. But for me, I was having to just crane my head way up there to the ocular lens to get inside the eye box there, and it was uncomfortable. So I got these Nikon tactical two-piece. It says for MSR, of course this is not MSR, but like that $50-something, not bad. They do the job. I don't like my objective lens being that high above my barrel. In the perfect world, your scope would be in your barrel, and you'd be looking down the barrel, the bore, at where the bullet's going. Of course, that would have problems too, but you certainly want the objective lens as close as you can get it to the barrel because that screws with your dope calculations. Anyway, everything about this rifle is buttery smooth. You can get a weight set that goes from NBT that take that little end plate there off, and there's a way to actually slide on the inside underneath the barrel and secure through these. These are M-LOK slots, and there's a weight set that goes on the outside. It has these two particular holes here. Those are for, I believe the website says those are for a night vision magnifier or something to that effect. I'm not sure. I don't really shoot at night. Um, you can also get a attachment there to make the buttstock a folding buttstock like the RPR has from the factory. Again, props to Ruger for that one. On the back side, if you don't want to have to adjust everything every time you move it, you can actually put set screws in these little holes here, and you can lock your adjustments down. The thumb screws here, they work fine, but they tend to come loose. You better watch it if you get one of these. I lost one and almost didn't find it, and those they're kind of a coarse thread. They'll come loose pretty easy. There are graduation marks on both the length of pull and comb height adjustments there, so if you can write down or if you have good memory, remember where your settings are. The inside of this barrel, I wish I got my borescope out and set it up so I could show you. Every rifle I buy, particularly the used rifle, I use my borescope. The reason for that is if you've ever noticed on sites like Gunbroker or Arms List, there's always a few ads on there for rifles that have never been fired. They've had it for 2 years. They waited on parts. They built things. They changed stuff. Never fired it. That seems odd to me. I kind of have a problem with that. That seems not very believable. Although it certainly happens from time to time. I think maybe not as much as some people claim. I know personally I've gone to look at a rifle before armed with my borescope, and a rifle that's supposedly unfired, only to discover that the lands look like someone poured acid on them right at the throat, just outside, just past the chamber. And someone just cleaned it up really well and said it never been fired. So I advise anyone who buys rifles much, especially used ones, to get a good borescope and a 9-degree mirror and really inspect that bore. Anyway, this rifle, Savage doesn't say anything about being lapped or lead lapped, but I have one other a 12 BR Norma BR or 6mm, a Savage 12 6 BR Norma chambered rifle that has been lead lapped, and that's what this barrel looks like on the inside, and it looks like a polished mirror. I said before, it's stainless, and there's not a chatter mark, there's not a machine mark anywhere from breech to muzzle, not a single one. I spent like 2 hours looking. I've never seen a barrel that didn't have any machine marks at all, and I thought, well, I'm going. There's one here. I know it. I'm gonna find it. I didn't. So Savage must lap these somehow, and I'm assuming they lead lap them. That's the only way I've ever seen done that comes out with that just mirror smooth, perfect finish, and it's just a beautiful thing to see. It's like I said, it's 5-hour rifling as is common in most rifles these days. At 1,000 yards, I've been able to shoot a a 3-shot .437 group and a 5-shot .524 group with this. That's the best I've done so far. I got it in February. I've probably had it to range maybe 10 times. I've only been doing all this a couple of years, so I'm still learning, particularly with the reloading stuff, and I'm still sort of fine tuning my shooting ability. So I'm sure there's people out there who can squeeze more out of it. But this is a competitor level rifle for, you can find them for 1,500-1,600 bucks now. I think the retail's $19.99. I believe Savage mentioned something about that number being uh, just below the factory or the stock um, limit for certain competitions. I think there's a few competitions where $2,000 is the maximum you can spend at the rifle retail cost can be, and I'm pretty sure there's a limit on the optic as well. There's a limit on the weight, but that was the purpose of getting this dude under 2,000, because if you had this built, I would be amazed if you got it done for under 3,000. To be honest with you, that was kind of where I was at with going the Remington 700 route and having a good trigger and the gunsmithing and the similar chassis and all. So this is a value. I mean, I was looking at the Savage Evolution, a Stealth Evolution was kind of where I was headed before this. A buddy of mine has the regular 10 BA Stealth Savage and was shooting half MOA groups within 1,000, and so that's kind of what got me looking at Savage. Um, and the Evolution is 1,500 bucks. So they may have gone down. Now that this is available, it seems like Savage might almost have to lower that. Maybe not. I don't know. Like I say again, you can get the Precision, so the Elite Precision, and it's also a great rifle. But I think that one, the rifle, the barrel is 24-inch heavy profile, and it's a black nitride type finish. It's on an MBT chassis, but it's not the ACC. It's something else where you have to get spacers or something to adjust your comb height and your pull length, and it has the regular M-LOK instead of the ACRA type rail in the front. So, which some of you may view that as good. It's a good looking rifle, that's for sure, and you can get it for around $1,000, maybe 1,100. Certainly a value. Anyway, if you're looking for money in this range and you want something that is, I don't like that tack driver term because everyone uses it. According to everyone out there, everything they own is a tack driver. But this comes pretty close to fitting that description. This rifle is far more rifle than I am shooter or loader, and so it's going to be up to me. It's my challenge now to meet the capabilities of this rifle. So there it is, the Savage 110 Elite Precision. Just came out like in November. You can get it for 1,500-1,600 bucks, I believe, on a lot of the major websites. I know Gravagun had it recently. I know Buds has had it. I don't know about, maybe not Buds. Oh, Gravagun has, and several others. But anyway, I appreciate you watching. See you next time.